Hi, Roy Kerck. Hi, Roy Kerckhoffs here on a sunny day in Carlsbad, California. Today I'm going to color outside because this piece is pretty big. This is my 6 by 2 feet piece, which I call Del Mar Surface, which was shot from Del Mar, California, looking north. So over here on the right, this is Dog Beach in Del Mar. And we get Solana Beach, Cardiff, Swami, and Encinitas, and this is the power plant right here in Carlsbad. So I'm going to color this piece with my Marshal Photo Oils. Okay, so I'm going to start with the sky again. In this case, there's no particular reason to start with the sky. I mean, I could have started with the beach too.
What about the people?
The people, there's a lot of them actually in the background. Oh, you mean the surfers?
Yeah.
Yeah, those I will do at the very last.
They're so tiny.
They are, and actually, because they're so much separated from the rest, I could have started with them too. But in this case, it's a habit really, because I have done this image a couple of times before, and I always end with the surfboard. So here I'm putting the sky on with it's called sky blue. Putting it on with a cotton round, just wiping it on very roughly. As you can see a lot of brush strokes, but I will smooth that out later.
Why are you using cotton round instead of a paintbrush?
That's a good question. So this is photo paper, and you can scratch it. The main reason I'm using cotton rounds is that people used to put it on a long time ago with cotton balls to put the paint on, like when the days of just black and white photography. And I used to do that in the beginning too when I started doing this, like, 8-9 years ago. But it gave off a lot of fluff. So in my earliest work, you can actually see little hairs everywhere. I mean, it's part of the technique, and it has its own charm, but I didn't like it, so I stopped doing it. I looked into something else, and then I thought, hey, wait, cotton rounds is actually still 100% cotton. But it's woven, so it doesn't give off all the little fluff, the little hairs. And what I'm doing now, it allows me to give it like a very uniform look. See? So I put it on very roughly earlier. You can see the brush strokes, but now I'm wiping over it again with a clean cotton round, and as you can see, I can give it a very smooth look. So that's the other reason. That's a little harder to do with brushes also, so that's why I like to use cotton rounds to do this. And then what I'm doing now is I'm
Cleaning up the clouds.
Cleaning up the clouds.
That sounds wrong.
Why does it sound wrong?
Well, I mean, you can't technically clean up the clouds.
Yeah, in real life you cannot really do that. That's right. But yeah, so when I put it on roughly, I went over the clouds, and now I'm removing it again and kind of make them look fluffy again. So giving them like soft edges.
How do you give them soft edges?
But using a cotton round like I'm doing now. And then I'm going a little bit over it into the sky too. So it gives it, as you can see, like a very soft look. Sometimes you have like rough edges, right, of a cloud, or very how do you call it, significant edge between the cloud and the background, this blue sky, and then I can use Q-tips. I'm just cleaning up the sky still, cleaning up the clouds, I mean.
And a bird.
This is a lot of the same, so I'll go through this fast again. I'll fast forward, go high speed, because it's a lot of the same.
Very, very fast.
Yeah, I thought well, here it comes, watch. There. Now it's going fast.
Kind of looks like a...
Oh, and you have to go slow again. I guess that was only a little bit what I slowed it, sped it up. So here I'm also making it a little more of a gradient. See, I'm very carefully, I'm kind of removing it. So the sky is done now.
Is there any more? No, you're working on the bluffs.
Yes, now I'm working on the bluffs. So the sky is all done.
Is
And-
it?
Pretty much. I think so, yeah.
But over the horizon.
Oh, you're right. Yes. So I'm going to color this kind of like a sunset. Far away from where the sun sets, I like the sky blue, like in this case. I mean, could have done it also by adding orange or red or yellow or something. But I like it this way. I've done it before this way. But you're right. So just above the horizon, later, I'm going to add some orange. And the mountains in the distance will become purple.
Have you ever used a color wheel?
Yes, and I think of the color wheel when I color my images. Especially if I wanna, not so much when I hand color my images like this, but when I do actual add opaque paints, like if I actually like add a sunset sky using opaque oils. Yes, I think of the color wheel sometimes, especially when you want to desaturate a color. I think of what's the color on the other side. So this is burnt sienna again, because it's a big surface. I'm putting it on with a cotton round, and as you can see, there's a lot of people in the background there, and I'm just going over them. But later I will remove the paint by using a Q-tip cotton swab. So in the far distance here, so that's the bluffs I'm coloring now. That's at Cardiff-by-the-Sea, San Aleo State Beach. Because it's so far away, I'd like to put it on very softly, so you get like, you know that when things are farther away, they look a little less saturated. So that's why I think it would look a little weird if I would put the same color as right there at Dog Beach. On the right there, that's Dog Beach, the bluffs.
That's a dog beach?
Yep, we've been there. That's why
Puffy?
Yeah, that's why we walk Puffy.
I only remember taking him to a dog beach with you.
Yeah, that was
he
that.
He didn't like to go in the water. He only played with the other dogs.
That's true.
It was a lot smaller beach than that.
No, it was that one. It was in the back here. But you're right. Yeah, he doesn't like to go in the water. Now we're almost done with all the burnt sienna.
What is your favorite part about this picture?
Well, I like that. I like that it's very panoramic. It's very long, and I like how you can see like very far too. So I use a very long lens when I shot this image, and those surfers actually never saw me because I was so far. I think I was at 25th Street in Del Mar. You can even see the power plant in Carlsbad. And the mountains all the way in the back, which I'm going to color purple, those are the hills or mountains. I'm not even sure what they are, but hills or mountains. Those are Camp Pendleton.
Do you use a black and white background to help with shading? Like shadows?
Well, it's part of the photo, right? So it's a black and white photo, and all the details and everything, including shadows and light areas, it's all part of the photo. I can change the color a little bit, for example, for shadows. Things in a shadow usually look a little more bluish, right? Because of blue sky, or when there's a blue sky. So I could make use of that. I could add some blue to the shadow if I wanted to. That's true. So here, what I'm doing here, so I went over the water when I put the color in roughly with the cotton round. So now I'm using a Q-tip to remove some of that. And also for the people, I will remove some of that color of the people that are in the back. And what I like to do also with this image is, because there's a blue sky towards the right, I like to add some blue into the water at some point. So what were you doing when I was working on this photo?
Next to you, doing a painting based off the song Soldier Poet King by the Oh Hellos.
That's right.
There's a bear, which is the king, a fox, which is the poet, and a wolf, which is the soldier.
And it's almost finished, right? You're still working on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm removing the paint from the people.
Do you like doing one half of the image and then finishing up the other side?
No, not really. Usually I start with large areas, do those first, and then go towards more detail. In this case, like what I'm going to do with the horizon and the mountains in the back, I will start with the sky on purpose and then go to the mountains instead of the other way around, because I have more control, like what's happening on the top of a cotton round and at the bottom. So I'm afraid if I would do the mountains first, then go on top of it, above it, with a cotton round, I would remove some of that paint on the bottom. And so I would remove accidentally the paint from the mountains. Here I am removing the color of patches of water on the beach. And now I'm adding that blue, as I mentioned earlier, with a cotton swab to the ocean. It also gives a nice contrast between the water and the sand. So now I'm starting with the sunset colors. I'm adding in cadmium orange just above the mountains but below the clouds. And then I'll make the colors a little bit more intense as I approach the left part of the image.
So you're now working on a sunset.
Correct. See, I'm kind of removing it from the mountains already. Mountains are a little faint, but you can kind of see them.
What orange is this?
It's cadmium orange.
Cadmium? Does this mean it's like ginger cat color?
No. Okay, so now I'm going to add some purple to the sky. I'm sorry. I'm going to add some... No, not yet.
You're great at this.
Yeah, I know.
Are you smoothing it out right now?
I'm adding a little more color.
Oh, so we need more ginger cat color.
Yeah, exactly. To the sky here. So the sun is kind of... Well, the sun was not really setting here. I think I shot this image around noon or so, I believe. But anyway, so if the sun would be setting way to the left here in this image, the sky would be a little bit more intense orange. So that's why I'm adding a little more orange here. And can you see how I go over the mountains? It's kind of hard to control not to do that.
Are you using oil?
Yeah, this is a transparent oil paint. Yeah, you were using acrylics. When you were painting, that was acrylic. Okay, so now we're removing a little bit from the mountains.
Cleaning up the mountains.
Yeah, now I'm doing it with a Q-tip. And now it's time to add that purple to the mountains. So again, that's because of the atmosphere and things far away look a little more purple or bluish. And I just like the look of this purple on the back. Putting it on again pretty roughly, right? It looks very messy.
Realistic.
Very messy, I would say.
No, very realistic.
But I'm going to fix that again by going over it with a clean cotton round.
So they're just a solid purple.
Yeah. So see how it's easier for me to have control of what's going on top of a cotton round and at the bottom. Now I have more control over not going into the sky above it. See, so now it's looking a little more subtle already.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to add some more orange to the power plant, as if the sun is shining on it.
So
from
we
the
need
left.
a lot of cat orange.
Yes, we do.
Ginger cat orange.
Yep. We sure do.
Woo! Your hair's in the corner.
Yep.
You're slowly intruding into the camera frame.
Here we go. Look, I'm just going over the power plant.
Keeping it going.
So I think the only thing left to do is
The ocean and the surfers.
now smooth out the mountains. The ocean, I'm gonna leave it the way it is. I kind of like it this way. I think
White.
I think I have done it
With color?
with a blue in it before. I believe.
Are you gonna color the surfers? Or at least the surfboard?
Yeah. So the surfboard will get it's called Viridian, which is like an aquamarine, and the guys, the surfers, I will add some flesh color to their faces and hands.
Flesh.
Yeah, it's funny.
Flesh.
It's actually called flesh.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it sounds a little weird, huh?
I know, lovely.
Yeah, totally. Still, so what I'm doing now, I'm kind of still smoothing out the sky a little bit and have a little bit of a better transition from the sky into the clouds above it. And now I'm continuing again, finishing up the mountains in the back.
Isn't that supposed to be sky, though?
No, there's mountains there. Like I said, it's hard to see, but you can kind of see, if you look closely, you can kind of see the line where the... It's because I added that orange already.
Ginger cat orange.
Ginger cat orange. you can kind of see it still.
Yeah. Why do you wear gloves?
It's because oil paint is slightly toxic, so I don't want to get it on my hands really.
And you don't want to be dirty.
And that too. Look how smooth it looks now.
Oh, so smooth. It looks very realistic mountains.
Well, you know what? It doesn't have to look realistic. right? Why should it look realistic? I mean, yes, it's a photo,
Yeah.
but I mean, I can do anything with it what I want. Like,
So
if
you
I
make it
wanted,
be rainbow.
I could make total rainbow mountains if I wanted to.
Make it be.
That's the nice thing about the coloring. I can make it look totally different than it really was. Like in this case, there was no.
Put fish on it.
I could totally put fish on it.
Because you definitely do that.
Yeah, that was not even a sunset. I painted it, or colored it as a sunset. Okay, so here we go. So we're almost done.
Just putting in the viridian.
Yes. And that, of course, I'm doing with a Q-tip or cotton swab because it's pretty small. It would be a little rough to put that on with a cotton round.
Then we get to put flesh on them.
Yes.
That sounds nice.
Yes.
And lovely
Totally.
in every way.
Oh yeah, and I think I'm still gonna do the orange, the cat ginger cat orange.
You've already forgotten the name of it.
on the power plant.
It's its new name now.
Ginger cat orange.
Yes. Great name. Great name. For an orange thing. Orange sky.
Look, there we go. Now I have to be really careful because that's a really
Tough spot
deep-
to get out of.
a
If you
detailed.
mess it up.
Yeah, very careful here.
That's very orange.
Yeah, I'll tone it down a little bit. I agree that was a little too much. But that's kind of how I work it anyway. So even with the sky and the mountains and everything, I put it on, don't worry yet too much about how thick it is, and then remove it. Here's your favorite color.
Flesh.
Looks pretty real though.
Probably my favorite color on the picture is the viridian. Yours?
Yeah, it stands out too.
What about you?
I like that too. I think like probably 90% of the time when I've done this image, I put viridian on the surfboards. And the piece is finished. If you'd like to see more of my work, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.